In the previous video, I discussed about the inject annotation and how we can use constructor injection to create object and how Dagger uses that annotation to know what are the dependencies of that object. In this video, I'm going to talk about field injection, another way you can inject dependencies to a class. So here we're going to use field injection to inject the user instance to main activity. The reason why uh, we can use field injection is because there are instances where you cannot use constructor injection, and activities in Android are a very good example of that because these are created by the OS, not by the application itself. So you don't have control over the construction of the activities, so you cannot use constructor injection. In that case, you can use field injection. That's what we're going to see here. And also see how Dagger creates the object based on these annotations. So first, we were going to inject, we're going to annotate this variable with inject annotation, and we're going to make it latinate, and it's going to be a type of user. Okay, so now if we try to run this won't really work. This won't even build because although Dagger knows how to create the user object now, the main activity is not being created by Dagger. So the main activity is all created by the OS, so Dagger needs to have the main activity instance to inject the user instance inside that. To do that, the next step is we need to have a method in the abstract factory interface that injects the activity to Dagger graph, and then Dagger takes care of the rest to instantiate the user instance from there. So we have this, the method name doesn't matter here. We're saying it inject because that's what it does, but you can name it anything, and we'll see what the generated code looks like. So we'll have this method, and Dagger will generate the implementation of this interface. So now if we try to build the project, let's see what happens. It should build fine, and it did build fine. Okay, so the build went fine. If we now go to the build folder, um, okay, generated source kpt debug, and here. So if we now go here, you will see that the Dagger user factory implementation, it has this inject method where we are injecting an instance of main activity, and then it's going to do here, and then it has this main activity members injector, and it's injecting the user interface there. And now if we go to this class, we will see that it's just a new user instance that Dagger is creating, and it already has that instance of main activity, and it's just assigning that value. Now we could have done it ourselves, like we could have just created the user and then assigned it to the field that we have here. But when we're injecting this and we want to use that, we need to pass this activity instance to Dagger so that it can instantiate this user instance. To do that, we have to simply use that inject method that we have written in the interface. So we're just going to say create and inject. So now this main activity, when it comes to onCreate, the main activity is already created. And we are injecting using this method, we are passing the instance so that using that instant, Dagger can inject the user to this activity. Now, if we go through the call graph, obviously it's going there, but if you see the implementation, it's going to come here and then come here, and then it's going to do that. uh, user instantiation here. And then if we run the app, it's going to run fine and it's going to show its Dagger. So that's how you can use field injection where you cannot use constructor injection.